Okay. So, what is your name?
Jordan McCullough. My social life. I don't really have that many friends. I just have a small group of friends. One I visit regularly, and some people online. Honestly, I think I value quality over quantity when it comes to friends, because I think having a lot of friends doesn't really mean much. I mean, I'd rather have like one or two good friends over like 10 or 20, friends that or people you don't really talk to that much. But most of the time it's the other way around. People approach me. Um, I can't answer why that is. I guess because I feel nervous about approaching people, and maybe a part of is laziness as well. I have Aspergers, but I don't feel like I really have it. I didn't really know I had it until about a year ago, when I was diagnosed. I mean, everyone around me wasn't surprised. It didn't really bother me, actually. The unfortunate thing is I kind of used it as an excuse to get myself out of situations on my job. I mean, the most intelligent person in the 20th century had Asperger's, arguably, so I don't see how that matters, in my opinion. Yeah, I had social anxiety. I still do to some extent, but not as much as I used to. Most of my social anxiety is more like, it's not like when I'm around like if one or two people or three, I don't feel nervous. It's just when I'm around like a bunch of people, like sometimes where I work at, it can be really, nerve-wracking being around so many people at once and being asked like multiple questions left and right, and it's hard to actually concentrate on my job because of it. I'm not a crowd guy, actually, which ironically, where I work at, I'm supposed to actually work with people. Well, the conversations I usually have are usually geek stuff, like Star Wars, Star Trek, Warcraft, Halo, um, video games, anime, um, maybe some books that I've read. I usually talk to people about that.
Like that.
Actually, it's easy to find friends in that kind of situation with geek related stuff. It's actually, I actually have made more friends doing that than I have in any other way, actually, because I find common ground with someone. It's actually easier for me to make friends through that than anything. I kind of feel like when I'm around my family, it feels awkward sometimes, because I know what a normal family looks like, but my family is dysfunctional. Because I grew up in a dysfunctional household, with a dad that barely worked and my mom who constantly wouldn't stop bitching about everything.
I feel you.
I mean, I love my mother, not my dad though, but I can't, deny, what happened in my childhood. I mean, there's some things that were so bad that I don't even remember my first 9 years of my life. Yeah, there's some memories that I don't remember. Hello, miss. How's your day today? Hello. Have you found an interesting book?
I'm trying to pick two of these.
Which one is appealing to you?
I don't know. I'm trying to narrow it down.
So many books, so little time.
I'll just read the backs.
Found a book you're looking for?
I'm looking for the elevator.
Hello. Found anything worth reading?
Yeah.
Hello. Looks like the only one person so far. These two people, we could have expanded. Huh. I could have.
You can say hello.
All right.
Just said hello. Nothing too bad.
All right.
Oh,
I don't want to come off as a stalker.
yeah, that's good. How about him?
Hmm. Found anything worth reading in this section?
I just started looking. I'm not a good source of information for you guys.
Darn. We're practicing our awesome social skills right now. Are you catching the vibe yet?
Catching the vibe. You guys are doing all right.
Hey,
Thank you.
doing good? Okay, good. Thank
I mean her. She's doing homework.
you. So how's homework?
So how's your homework going? What are you studying for?
Psychology.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, it's fun.
Hey, what got you into psychology?
Oh, what got you into psychology?
Going to years of therapy myself.
I see.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this?
This is my first year in college.
Oh,
Yeah.
is this the only class you're taking?
No, I'm taking 16 units.
Wow, I'm a train wreck with one unit.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. But it'll pay off someday, I hope.
Today, what got you into learning about therapy?
What got you to learning about
Guys
therapy?
kidnap you filming other customers at my store.
Oh,
Oh, but we're homies.
Is that okay?
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we're
no,
homies.
He has
No
my
worries.
consent. He asked me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
all right. Oh, sorry. What got you into therapy?
Just going myself. I think everyone should go to therapy, so I want to be a therapist one day.
Like, what expanded your listening skills?
What expanded your listening skills?
Just reading a lot when I was young, and just being really open-minded.
Oh,
Okay, now you take the bandwagon.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you keep taking it. I'm done.
Oh.
But
Oh, you're.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
taking the training wheels off.
You're lucky you found what you wanted to do so early. It took me almost being 30 years old to do that.
Oh, thank you.
It's all right.
Thanks, guys.
Well, you're fortunate to find what you wanted to do early.
Thank you. I feel fortunate.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you.
Most people, unfortunately, still haven't figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel pretty lucky. It feels good.
Yeah, I would. If I had a time machine, I would travel back into when I was 18 and start going to college then instead of doing it when I was in my mid-20s.
Yeah. I'm actually 18, so this is my first year, but it feels good. I like it so far.
Well, I wish you luck, Miss. I hope you succeed.
Thank you so much. You too.
You as well.
Thanks for being a baller. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how long do you normally do these videos? I mean, how long are they usually?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We'd actually be
Doing all right.
done right now.
Good. I just
Oh.
want to kind of see what you guys got going on.
We're doing a social skills video,
Okay.
basically. So what we do is we get consent before. Well, we hopefully we get consent. But if they're in a good energy, if there's receptivity, if they're
Yeah.
saying yes, we're practicing like social skills and stuff.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Alright.
But there's no like on consent filming when you shouldn't be filming and all that
but
stuff.
I mean, yeah, just still even.
Yeah, that's
approaching
bound- that's
customers,
boundary.
But next time, just
Yeah.
ask for managers so you kind of know what's going on. Because
Oh, I understand.
generally, anytime you're filming stuff like that, you got to get consent from
Yeah,
my
yeah.
corporate office and everything. So.
Understandable.
Corporation
But,
wars.
do your job, and I appreciate the service.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
Interesting. What is
Is
this?
it gonna be much longer?
Yeah, it's gonna take about like 1 minute.
Okay. All right. No worries.
Thank you.
Interesting.
All right, so tell the audience about like your experiences with going up to people.
It wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
It actually, once I did it, I felt way less nervous than I did before doing it. Saying hello to people, it was nice to be the one that says hello for a change instead of having it be the other way around. It makes it so I don't feel as isolated from people when I'm the one that does it instead of having other people do it. It wasn't as nerve-wracking as I expected it to be. It was actually easier to actually do it than just thinking about it. It actually was. I didn't feel like my mind was racing 1,000 miles an hour. I felt like my mind slowed down when I was the one that actually started the conversation than having it be the other way around. All right.
Any last words? Anything that you want to share to people that are first getting into approaching people?
It's not as hard as it seems. I say stop thinking about it, just do it.
Yeah. Jordan is a very interesting guy. When I first met him, he was talking about communism. And for me to be open-minded to that was a new experience for me. I'm so used to going up to people and just talking about consciousness, and he's talking about communism. So before I actually got him to start approaching people, I was listening to communistic ideas for about 30 minutes. And it was a gap in my expertise. I had no idea about communism. And he had ideas that I had no experience in talking about. So for example, he'll talk about certain political ideas that I don't even know the definition of. And as he's talking about it, I'm just listening. So that's what's going to happen when you're talking to people. I'm not very good at politics, so when I listen about politics, I'm very unaware in that area. So when you talk to people, it shows you areas that you could potentially grow in if you want to. For example, if a person is speaking Chinese to you, it can propel you to learn Chinese as well if you're motivated. Anyways, what I love about Jordan is that he has Aspergers. Now, the thing about Aspergers is that it's just social feedback. There's no need to identify with having Aspergers, because if you look at his daily life, he plays games a lot, he has dysfunctional parents. Of course, it can make sense for him to have social deficiencies. If you look at his habitual lifestyle and the things that he's catering his time to, it's understandable that there are going to be social deficiencies. There's no need to identify with having Asperger's. It's just a way to get feedback from the world and what to potentially work on, because social skills is a very workable thing. Anyone can work on their social skills. So don't worry about that. Now, he has a dysfunctional relationship with his parents. There's a dysfunctional family that's going on. He loves his mom, he doesn't really love his dad. What I'm getting is that there's a lot of escape going on. He's watching anime, he's playing games, he has a YouTube channel about it. There's a lot of escape. Now, it's a passion and he has friends about it, so there's a sense of camaraderie, there's a sense of awesomeness with his comrades playing video games, but there's still that sense of escape because he said something about his memory, how he would have memories back in his past that if he were to go back into, there would be a lot of emotions that start to come up. Now, I'm not a complete psychologist here, but there are indicators where people express about how they have memories so far back that they can't remember because there's a lot of emotion blocking up those memories, creating denial about those memories, creating it's like this huge, intense, low vibration energy that's dormant in the body called the pain body that allows those memories to stay dormant in some sense, in some way. So I've never personally had experiences where I've lost memory because I didn't go through extremely traumatic situations. And if I did go through extremely traumatic situations that could create a lot of emotion within me, I was able to be in a level-headed manner when it did happen. So the most traumatic situation that I've been through was when I went to jail. And I was actually very level-headed when that happened. So there was no necessity to suppress any memories. However, when you're a child and you don't have a mindset to deal with conflicting situations, there is a higher tendency for you to suppress situations. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I don't have a degree in this. So you guys can self-verify that information for yourselves. So I believe the biggest thing that Jordan needs to work on is dissolving that pain body. Dissolving that energy, because that is going to be the energy that is going to cause the most amount of dysfunction in terms of creating social relationships with people. And that is going to be the energy that's going to take away from his happiness. Because although there's nothing wrong with playing games, there's nothing wrong with geeking out on games, there's nothing wrong with watching anime, there's nothing wrong with that. However, when there is an attachment to it, when you're investing a lot of time into it, there's a tendency for you to be unhappy. Now, there are a lot of gamers out there that record themselves watching video games, that playing video games, etc. But it's all about looking at yourself. It's not about looking at them. It's not looking about their glamorized lifestyle with a lot of subscribers. It's about looking at yourself. When you're playing video games, what emotions are you feeling? Are you completely at peace? And if you're not completely at peace, use that as an indicator to work on that. Ways to work on that: meditating, letting go, sensing the energy that is dormant inside of your body, breathing, and letting go. It's a very important thing. Then, after doing that, go approach, talk to new people. He's felt isolated. And I'm so thankful for him being vulnerable and truthful about the situation, because if you're not, you're never going to change it. But he was vulnerable and truthful about his situation, so I'm thankful about that. Because as I saw him going up to people, he had a lack of eye contact. And he would disengage from conversations a little bit too quickly. He recognized that and he was able to fix it because he acknowledged it. And that's why I love him. He's able to shift. He's able to grow. His lack of eye contact, I believe, is because there's just so much emotion in here. So when you do have eye contact with another person, it can be stressful. You don't want people to be looking at you in a way that might not be in your best egoic interest. I don't know, but he just didn't have eye contact, so he has to correct on that. Because what happens is that when you're not having eye contact, you lose out on being able to experience the person in front of you. You lose that sense. Now, he has good intuition. I actually like his style of approach, especially when you're first starting out. It's less aggressive the way that he's approaching. It's very not aggressive. And it's it's good because when you're first starting out, sometimes people like me, when I go up to people, sometimes I can't detect when a person doesn't want to talk. So I'm actually extra persistent and he's actually extra non-persistent. And what he has to work on is persisting a little bit more, asking more questions. And the questions that he needs to ask people are more open-ended questions, are questions that they would know the answer to. Not open-ended questions, but questions that they would know the answer to. He keeps asking them questions about what books are you thinking about, any books that you figured out. The likelihood for a person at Barnes & Noble is that usually goes in there just with the intention to look will not necessarily know the answer to. But if you see them in the section of the self-development section, ask them what got them into self-development. And then you can tap into their story. Boom. Okay? And the girl, towards the very end, oh my gosh, thank you for her. She actually was overhearing our conversation. She was about 100 feet away from me when I was listening to Jordan about his communist story. And she was actually about 10 feet away from us. And I was just thinking to myself, let's find a person that is receptive. So I actually got him to approach her. And it was a beautiful conversation. It was a conversation about psychology. I'm a person that's an advocate, that's crazy about psychology, crazy about self-development. So I knew as a fact that I could have expanded that conversation. Now, maybe that's not the case. Maybe that was as far as he could push it, and maybe that's all right. Then you'll have people commenting on the camera. You'll have people that work inside of Barnes & Noble asking, hey, why is there a camera right there? What's really interesting is that the first person that commented on our camera was actually a synchronicity. Because I went up to the worker and I asked her, hey, I'm so sorry, did we get a complaint about the camera? And she said, no, like sometimes there's just like creepy people and stuff, and like we just don't want those things to happen. Now the fact that she's evaluating people as creepy, that is a level of consciousness of unacceptance, but it's okay because it's Barnes & Noble and they're just doing their job. So there's no need to judge that. But what was interesting is that girl that basically went up to us and told us to stop filming because of the camera, but then she got consent from the girl that it was okay. She was actually a girl all about law of attraction, and her brother actually has Aspergers as well. So there was a synchronicity there. Very interesting. So when I'm dealing with camera situations, it's really all about displaying that you get it, that you understand, that you're accepting of the situation, and that you're willing to comply in the situation. I don't go the extra mile to talk to the managers or talk to other people because people have the tendency to not really get it. They don't. You can try, but people have the tendency to not really get it, especially if you're the out-of-box thinker, if you're a very independent thinker. They don't really get what you're doing, and they would rather say no so they have less responsibility because they're just working there. Okay? So that's why I don't do it. And that's why I go out of my way just to film and break rules a little bit. And I love how he's saying hello to people. He was so good at saying hello to people. There was no discrimination about him saying hello to people. So that was super beautiful. And that's what gave him energy. And he was nervous at first, and then he overcame his nervousness. Boom. So what I would recommend to Jordan is to continue going up to people, to continue approaching people, to continue getting to know people, asking questions about them that are questions that they would know the answer to, questions that are interesting and something that would really intrigue them. For example, the psychology person, I know so much about psychology. I would ask, okay, you got into psychology, okay, cool. What got you into psychology? And she says she wants to become a therapist. What kind of therapist would you be? And then maybe I'd do a role play. Okay, let's say I am your client and you are my therapist. Pretend that you're a therapist, and I'd role play with that. Boom, 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 boom. So there's a lot of creative things that you can come up with. And Jordan, this is just him first starting out. So I believe the fact that I didn't even tell him what questions to ask. He just asked those questions randomly. So Jordan is actually on a path to learning about social skills very fast. All he needs to do is to just continue going up to people, to continue approaching people. That's all he needs to do. And then I know that he's creative enough to adapt, to resituate, to continue and continue and continue. And then over time, he's just gonna get it. He's gonna be flying on his social skills. So, Jordan, you're amazing, brother. Let go of that baggage that's inside of you. Clean up that baggage. And then as you let go of that baggage, continue making courageous decisions, because that was powerful. And I want you to be able to I want him to be able to meet quality friends. But the thing is that you have to meet a lot of people. Actually, I don't know. I always meet quality friends every single time I go out. Maybe I don't see them for the rest of my life. Maybe I don't continuously re-meet up with them and continuously talk with them. But in that instance, in that moment, that was a powerful conversation I had with them. And you're right, it really does take you out of isolation. It makes you honestly feel no matter where I go, I can find a friend. I can find a person to talk to. I can find a person to engage with. And the fact that he had no feelings of rejection. Maybe there's a little bit like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have said that, or things like that. But he was able to tolerate rejection very well. These are indicators and signs for high amounts of progression. Now, he may be starting out at a much more lower place than most people, but he's going to propel really fast because he has the principles down. He has the solidified principles of being able to tolerate all that baggage. So that's what's going to allow him to really go forward. Because I know people that are already here in their social skills, but it's like, they don't really need it. They don't really need to go that far. But I honestly feel like he's going to go really far. He's going to go really, really far. And we'll see. If not, okay. But I don't know. As I'm saying that he's going to go really, really far, I get energized saying it. So it may be true. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys like this video, give it a like. If you guys have a question or concern, comment on this video. I will reply to the comment. And hopefully you guys subscribe to this channel. Tell me, you guys, what you guys want to see next. I'm going to be doing a speech soon, so hopefully that comes out really good. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.